Hey everybody, welcome to Cinema Sesh. I'm AJ Hamilton.
And I'm Jay Salahi.
And we're getting ready for the end of the world with the Death Cure.
This is it.
Big one.
This is it. We're defeating Wicked. This is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End or Return of the Jedi. But in all seriousness, that's what it is. That's the third film. And what
really
does it start
is,
with? Saving a character who got taken at the end of the second film.
That's right.
This follows that structure. It's literally no different than those two films. The beginning of this movie's like, what do we got to do? It's an opening action set piece, and we're trying to save our buddy.
That's right. Yeah, and it's on a train.
Honestly, the best part of this movie might be the first 10, 15 minutes, because that action set piece is fucking super well directed. And the first getting to the train, I was really impressed. Just a couple linking shots and just the way we panned from they're in the car, they're late, and then we reveal the train. I was like, it's pretty good.
And the way it unfolded, it was very interesting. This movie is a satisfying conclusion, as much as it can be, except I really didn't get enough. I don't know. I didn't get enough
of the wicked side
of the wicked side of it, of the motivation behind Teresa and why she is so welcomed back into it as a doctor.
Because
not just
she captured them, and it was like she was this inside job alone.
I guess, but I want to know what happened with her. I want to know more. I would love to have seen just a few, not those weird blurry flashbacks, but some sort of flashbacks of him working with them and the reason why he broke.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It was its own story, and it was fine.
Yeah,
but I think it was a little light on resolutions of things that they set up in the first movie.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you think?
So going into it, I was a fan of the first two,
sure.
as you were too, decently, and I thought it was a good wrap-up, and I thought it was, overall, I enjoyed it better than I did the Scorch Trials.
Okay.
I think it's, again, a well-directed movie, good cinematography.
Sure. I
think Wes Ball is a baller. I just do. I think he's so talented. I think he makes $70 million look like $100 million.
Yes.
So, I agree with you on the Wicked stuff, and I think we were talking about the other podcasts. That's my whole I kind of have to look over it, but I still don't fully get it, really. I really don't get the Wicked thing. We don't quite know enough about it.
Yeah.
But because we're always staying with our main heroes and our characters and so on and so forth.
And it's just a faceless evil corporation, and you've got apparently 3 people in charge of it.
It would be
really
amazing.
I mean,
this is how you elevate this.
Yeah.
This whole series in general. And it's not an easy thing. It's and it's not like they weren't trying to do this. But if I cared, if I believed in Wicked cause,
yes.
If I, as an audience member, saw equally both sides, or it would be it would be a great piece of science fiction.
There had to be
not just a fun adventure movie with But yeah, this movie in general, like I said, I enjoy it. I think that we're talking about the direction's really good. I think in general the story beats are good, and I like it, and I think it does all the motions it needs to do. I think it's really well done, but there's something about it, even though I do care about the characters, the whole movie, while I really enjoy it, does come off, it feels slightly hollow in a way.
Well, you talked about this in the second one too, and I believe it's like there's a shorthand because it's from a book.
Yeah.
You're supposed to understand, and they're hitting a lot of the moments, but it's like you're supposed to understand. It's like this is a fill-in for the book moments.
I don't think it's a lot, but I feel like it's there's that 15% of you've read the book, right? Not as much as Harry. I think the Harry Potter movies work completely as films, and these.
Oh, of course.
But this doesn't. We don't have that quite the same connection as a movie. It it does have that implication you already love these guys, right?
Yeah, and they're giving you the shorthand, like I said, for. They're giving you the longing looks, or they're giving you the emotional sit downs with each other and stuff like that. But I don't think it is fleshed out enough.
Yeah.
When I find out that Newt, I mean we're jumping here, but that thing about Newt, spoilers. I have not gotten back into what he is like and how he ties in and how important he is to Thomas. Because that's who we are in this. We are Thomas. I mean,
they do some stuff at the beginning after step where they kind of set it up and they say some exposition to say if you haven't seen them, but no.
But you got to be paying attention pretty well.
One thing with these movies in general, we're gonna go more linear through, but one thing in general, these movies feature a lot, especially the last two, of one-on-one character moments, which is always great.
Yes.
But it's like Thomas goes and checks up on everybody. He has one-on-one scenes with them, one scene with them, and then they go off and have another smaller character thing. But I feel like there's not a lot of group conversations as much, and not even big group conversations. I mean, 3 or 4 people, but more than a lot of personal things.
People talking about, like, there's this one at the very beginning, after they've rescued Minho. No, they haven't rescued him.
Not yet. They rescued
a bunch of kids.
Minho, but they rescued 2 other people. They rescued the girl
and Eris.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
The blonde girl from the second one we see.
And they have that arguing scene where they're like, well, we can't just go after Minho.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but in that situation, it's not independent voices. It's everybody against Thomas, essentially. You know, it's Vince, played by Barry Pepper again. Yeah. Really cool to see him again.
Always love that beard.
Jorge, Jorge giving a dissenting, probably, I think, and Brenda probably talking back to Thomas, and Thomas is the only positive one in the argument. So even though it's 4 people, 5 people talking in a room, it's everybody against Thomas rather than everybody having their own unique voices.
And it's not even like everyone can be against Thomas, but you're right. It's like they have...
But if they all did it in a different way.
In a different way, exactly.
Yeah. Like,
you're right. It's a good idea.
Jorge's like, I've always watched out for myself, and that's always worked fine for me. Vince they have different ways of
convincing him or something. Yeah.
Vince is saying, you want to sacrifice 1 kid for a million, and I think they do a little bit, but it's more just Vince. It's more just the look out for the common good rather than this one guy. You can't do that.
But this is all conversation is obviously after the big action set piece in the beginning. So let's just jump into the beginning of the movie and talk about that action set piece.
Sure thing. There are 2 things. I can't believe that helicopter dealie couldn't shoot Jorge and Brenda.
Jorge's an
excellent driver. He can dodge laser bullets.
You didn't see in the wide shot, he's staring right at the rear view mirror the whole time. He's just looking, going back and forth.
He's got it. He's got it. He's on it. He's done the rally course.
See, no, I agree. I think when I'm watching it, I think the same thing, but then I go, it's a movie. But what I'm more impressed by is I'm like, oh, that's a real truck, and it looks like they had real planned fireworks going around, and then they, added in. So I was like,
all the practical is very impressive.
So I was sold on that part. But
absolutely.
I watch it and I say,
you know what it felt like?
What?
It felt like a Mission Impossible opening.
Yeah,
didn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Mission or a Bond, and kind of in a Mad Max flavor.
Oh yes,
sure, obviously inspired by that. But I like watching something that is like, you know what? The director directed this. That's not a second unit. It doesn't feel like a second unit got all those shots and planned it. It wasn't the standardness. And, there's more narrative focus in that set piece than a lot of blockbusters today and a lot of these newer superhero movies. I'm sorry, but today we feel like we get a lot of action set pieces that are less like, I would call Indiana Jones, goal-oriented.
Okay.
We have to do this, to do this, to do this. And we know what the same, it was visuals, right? We're doing unveiling a plan. A lot of it's like, oh, we're fighting.
Yeah,
and it's like you're fighting, and it's like you're going around different locations and fighting, but where's the Indiana Jones moment where it's like, now he's on the side of the tank, and he's got to crawl up, and then once he gets up, now he's on the roller, he's going to get rolled over it,
Yep. It's a much closer narrative rather than
experience.
Like jumping from person to person to person to person, and it's all just to defeat. And
it's very practical, and there are real people running on the train, and there's a lot of amazing stunt work going on.
I you know what? Okay, I going back to that. There's a point where Barry Pepper hides behind taking off.
Yeah, they're lifting the
car of all the kids,
children,
and he has to run around this one side, and I was like, wait, they're shooting at him on one side. Why not run around to the other thing? But I looked at it as he was jumping on and they were taking off. There were only a ladder. There was only a ladder on one side. And I was like, that is storytelling, right? I mean, the tiniest little thing.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, it's detail and it's production, but it's also saying this is why he had to do the dumb thing that we were all worried about. It's not that he was as a character dumb.
Yeah.
It's that it was the only option, and that's where we get the heightened feeling of worry.
And he doesn't want to do it. We see in those 2 shots, he knows it's dumb.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
Fuck this, I'm gonna get shot.
And I was like, wait, can he jump onto any other part of it?
Just on the back
no,
of
he
it or
can't.
something. Yes.
That was fucking cool.
I did want to see him, and it was a visual image in my head I thought I was gonna get. I wanted to see him get shot off. Just the visual image of him like climbing the stairs, I pictured it, him getting like right up to it, and the helicopter's going up, and this thing's at 100 feet, and boom, shot.
Yep.
And then as they're lifting up, he gets shot down and hits the train, and they keep lifting up, looking at him. It would have been a very what's this movie called? Now I'm blanking. Frank Sinatra.
Oceans
Voyant on the Von Ryan's Express. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
World War II movie.
Ooh.
I want to bring it up because it's good to watch classic movies.
Absolutely.
60s movie with Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
World War II movie. It's not the greatest movie, but it's entertaining for what it is. The thing is, I want to spoil is the very last shot of the movie, though.
Okay,
so,
spoilers
spoiler for the movie that
for
I'm telling you to
movie.
watch, that you need to watch. So even though I'm telling you the ending, you watch it.
You'll enjoy it.
But that movie ends. It's a film show. I can talk about other movies.
Yes, please.
The movie, it's this whole thing about him trying to free like POWs kind of after World War II. They're kind of trapped.
Okay, gotcha.
And at the end, they finally get on and they're getting on this train and they're escaping.
Okay.
And this Frank Sinatra's, the hero is getting them all off. Mm-hmm. And the train's going down and all the heroes are running onto the train and the bad guys are chasing them and shooting them from the back. I think it's the Italians. And
probably.
And
you got a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah, right. Then the Italians.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Russians and it wasn't the Germans. So. But everyone's now got on the train because he stopped to help somebody and get him up. And everyone's on the train as it's driving off.
Yeah.
And the bad guys are shooting, and he saved them all. And boom, he gets shot at the last minute, right before he grabbed onto the rail.
Oh.
And he sits there, and the train pulls away with everybody he just saved, and he lies there dead. And the movie ended, his train just pulls off. And the movie ends that way on the shot of them pulling off.
That's such a powerful moment.
It was. You haven't seen the movie, you know it's powerful.
No,
So I had that image of like
amazing.
that would have been cool.
Yeah,
type of moment.
True.
But no, it's a dope action sequence in general. But
it's
a way to kick off the movie. And then the title card comes up. Death
Cure. Thomas goes on board to all of the kids.
Yeah.
To the rescued case, the rescued compartment, and he's looking around, sort of like, oh, hey, Eris, hey, girl, hey, you're doing good, fine. Yeah. Where is Minho?
Yeah, I know.
I don't really care. Like, it wasn't like he was rescuing a whole group of people. It was like he was rescuing Minho, and these people were like, see, I could care less whether or not you're alive.
Mine was my issue. I felt like the whole thing was they were trying to save as many kids as possible before they have to they have to go on this mission.
Yeah.
And that's their number one thing.
Yeah.
And in doing so, they're hoping and trying to find Minho, and they want to save the one Minho's on.
Of course.
If they can pick one, they're hoping it's the one he's on too.
Yeah.
But if not, it's still a win-win. I think that's how everyone else looked at it. Maybe not him, but I don't think they story-wise presented that, and they did that in that scene, I guess, with Barry Pepper talking not to go, but I didn't get the sense before that, you know what, no, the mission wasn't Minho. The mission should have been saving the kids. Yes. I think that was a little misconstrued. I think that's what it's meant to be.
I get that, but it almost feels like Thomas is the leader.
Yeah.
And it felt very selfish and very foolish to be like, I don't care, we're gonna go after he goes through a shit ton, insurmountable and unreasonable in that situation to even expect that you would get even close to the city, which he didn't know about, but then to find out, which they found out about way too easily. It's on this map. That was a short little shorthand. But then to think that you're going to get through the gates of this huge city, and then into a locked down area, and then find where in this huge
AJ,
compound.
I have one response for you only. Rebellions are built on hope.
Shut up. It's the worst line that wasn't in that movie. Oh,
that's my answer to all your questions right
Fair enough. There has to be someone who is...
He believes, goddammit.
He believes, but he's a wonderful man, too. Like, do we want to talk about what he's... No, I mean, like, he's a admirable fellow for doing everything that he's done to get through this fucking movie.
Oh,
like
Dylan.
Oh,
Dylan
not
O'Brien,
Thomas, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't want to go into it too much because I don't like to talk about mercy, but there was obviously...
Interviews online.
Yeah, there was a major accident that happened on the making of this movie.
Yeah.
Which... You know, you're doing stunts and you're making a movie like this and doing things. It's as safe as can be, but you can never make these things perfectly safe. I mean, I've worked on car commercials. I've seen some of these things go, and It's insane. It's sad, but every 3-4 years or 3 years, accidents are going to happen, and it was a really big deal. And they had to shut the production down for like a year, and
the
he
head
had
of
to recover.
and he actually got ready to do American Assassin before he reshot this, wasn't it?
He did,
something
he had
like
to
that.
Do that then back to this.
Good Lord, what a that is incredible stamina. That almost makes me take back everything I've said about Thomas, because that's like real life Thomas right there.
That's pushed through.
Overcoming odds. So good for you, Dylan O'Brien. I just wanted to mention that.
I hope he has a big career. I think he's talented. I think he's gonna have a decent.
He started off with some really good hits.
Yeah. And did you see did you see Deepwater Horizon?
Oh no, I didn't, but I realized that he was in that. Yeah.
Nice, like small, like not big role, but like bigger.
But yeah, I mean, up and coming role.
Yeah.
So he leaves on this thing, but of course there's the obligatory we're not going to let you go alone with Newt and Fry Pan.
But again, and talking about the filmmaking, it's what I like about Wes. Again, it's not very simple. We're not locked off TV. Every shot's moving, every shot's linking. It's great. And just that simple shot moment you're mentioning, that moment works for me
where
too,
he clicks on the light.
Because he clicks on the light and the camera pan, he opens the door and the camera pans, and then you see he's there in the door, and it's like just simple stuff like that. That people take for granted. They think of like the story beat moment. Yeah. But like what's the best way to capture that moment? Like how can you tell the story with a visual shot? And that's the best way to do it. Like you think about that one shot, how many times you've seen someone do that? It's just a cut. There's a shot.
And there's a lot of times where people ride up behind them and say, "We're not going to let you do this alone." But this was sort of like more of a wink and a nod, sort of like and
cool.
goddamn it,
it was introducing a character we hadn't seen that we were back in the movie.
And Thomas Brodie-Sangster is charming as hell. So yeah, he's Newt.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then Fry Pan too. I like
Dexter
Fry Pan. He's getting a bigger role in each movie.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy that guy. He's been one of my favorite, along with Chuck. From the beginning.
Where are you, Chuck?
I'm sorry. And that's something that they don't reference that in this movie. They referenced it in the last movie. Yeah. His little totem that he gives him.
See, that's the one I was looking for that too. I wanted to see something.
I wanted to like. Maybe their parents had moved there, or maybe he had found somebody who he. I know. This was already a bloated storyline
at the end of the movie at the thing.
Yes,
I thought at the when they're at the paradise place on the beach.
Yes,
I thought he was gonna have that.
He was gonna set it on top of the rock or something like that.
Or look at it in his hand when overlooking the water.
Yeah, because it seemed so important to him, and he mentioned in the second movie, and I was like, oh, that's a nice lead through, because we need to reintroduce who Chuck was to him, but even if we don't, and he put it up there, people who were fans of the movies at least would have been like, oh God, that's another awe moment. That's another heartfelt moment.
Much. It's literally 2 shots.
Yes, exactly.
3 shots. Eyes,
hand,
insert,
set,
place.
Down. Yeah, absolutely. No, I know. I'm not very smart, but I know filming.
Or even better, close up of the thing, pan up, face, eyes.
Yeah.
Or like tilt up.
Yes.
Then pan left as he places all in one shot.
So they go through.
Then we go to the whole tunnel crank. They get in the truck. They gotta go
cranks.
They're like, oh my God, a bunch of cranks there. Let's drive through it. And fun sequence again, well directed. But this whole movie in general too, which is that every beat. They're like, they're gonna do this beat next, aren't they? And they do it. There's the beat next, and they do it, which is fine. It's fun. But there was a certain when they crashed the car. I was like, bro, come on. How's the guy in the back seat like, hey man, look out. Bitch, you're dry. I never understand that.
He was trying to find a place to scrape that crank off.
He already did
really, like the next thing that comes up is something that he can't avoid.
And it was like very slight too, because it's like the wheel came up, so it was like,
And then I will say also, when Jorge comes in and crashes in, I'm like, we just saw this in the end of the second movie.
Yeah, the same exact thing with the truck coming in.
And of course, I've just seen these a couple of days ago. But I was like, well, it can't always just be, because I was expecting
like there was a lot in this movie. It seemed like more than most movies. There's
a lot of times there was a couple of cliched things where it was just
every movie needs the moment where you're allowed one. You got to do it. It's like Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Oh, I'm standing here. Someone's gonna kill you. Oh no! I shot you from behind you.
Just kidding.
You gotta do that. You can do that once. Or we're trapped. Oh, they come out of the war to save us. You're allowed to do that once.
No,
I felt like they did it like 3 or 4 times. There were so many
building up the danger and then cutting the legs out from under it,
and not with and usually with another character arriving.
Yes.
Not with with a Die Hard
or like
moment.
a plan
or a Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, thing.
And that was another thing is I think I've mentioned this in other podcasts. I don't always need like a flashback or an explanation of how they're going to do a heist like a Ocean's 11 or something like that. But you see them setting up like Brenda in one place later on, and then Fry Pan in the other place that we don't know what it is.
It's in a crane.
And in a crane, and then Amazing Spider-Man, and then but in a more useful way.
That guy saved my son.
We got to turn all the cranes. But in a more interesting way. I did like the lifting up the bus and swinging around.
Great idea, great step-piece idea, but it needs the slightest setup of like, I got something up my sleeve.
Yes.
That's all you need.
Yes.
Line. What is he talking about? I don't know.
And all it was I'm in position. It's like
no.
Yeah, no.
Before they left, it would just a finger point of like we missed them setting it up, but they're reminding themselves as they start it. Don't forget the plan.
Exactly, because she drives in with the bus, and it's like, wait, she got a bus?
Yeah.
I mean, they set it up as we're going along, and I don't want to be like, I don't want everything spelled out to me.
No, of course
not. And it's
not.
kind of fun to see all of these little things pop up.
No,
but you get an initial fun reaction, and then you're like, oh wait.
Yeah,
that was sort of cheap. There were a lot of fun moments in this movie. There were a lot of fun moments, a lot of sort of like giggle moments. Just being like, oh my god, that was, I'm so glad that they got out of that. Like when they land the bus and then it falls over and then the out of service sign comes on.
That was a good
but
moment.
I know we're jumping way farther ahead. I mean,
after they go through the tunnel, they get to the
little
gates. There's like a
town.
Like a little
outside of the city.
outside on the outside of it. Like can't get in because we've learned because we had one scene. We get one scene with like the corporate people who are paying for Wicked.
Oh God, yes.
And this is what I also think is a smart thing. I listen. I don't want to be mean to any nieces out there. I have nieces, little cousins. I love them. I wish you the best. However, it's just such a thing where they're like asking like this whole. Suppose this is the last city ever. Like people don't even know about it.
Yes.
There's only 100,000 people alive, we'll say, that are like not infected that live in this city.
Sure.
Left in America, left in Earth, whatever it is.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
And they're like, and she's like, so they're trying to convince them. Have you ever lost somebody? They look at this like Madam President, vice of a corporation.
Who
the
hell knows who she was? She was
faceless,
never
important
bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, have you ever lost someone? She's like, yeah, I have. I lost my niece. And I felt bad because I started laughing in the movie theater. And when people are like, why are you laughing? And it's like, because of like this flare, the solar flare happened, the world got wiped out, everyone's getting like poisoned and turning into these things. You assume it's one of those things where like, I have like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, like we're making families out of what we have. I lost my husband and daughter, you lost your wife, you know what I'm saying? It's like that. And this is like, no, I just lost my niece. Everyone else is fine.
Yeah, we gotta talk about, well, they get shot at because Thomas gets scanned, but then they never use those
they're running through the bazaar
things,
and they get scanned on their back by a drone. I see what you're talking about. Now they're at the big wall.
Yeah. They never use the scanners again to find him.
Well, they pick him out.
Yeah, I guess. All right. And
there should have been a moment where like his scanners aren't working.
Yeah, something like that. But then they get the guns on, and for people wanting to like capture him, or I don't know what they want with him, whatever. But they just like Jansen,
dead or alive, you're coming
shoot
with
him.
me.
Just they shoot at him a bunch of times, and then they all four or five of them get
kidnapped.
Now,
before this, when we saw him instantly, when there was a guy on the back of the truck, I already knew it was him. I was like, oh, it's the guy from the first movie.
You thought so?
I knew it's the same facial structure behind the mask.
Oh, okay, interesting.
100%. I was like, that's him. I knew it. I was like, I wanted to make sure I was right. I wasn't like an idiot. And then I was like,
yeah. Okay, interesting.
100%. I was proud.
Like Gally is like, well, these people.
So Gally is the guy who grabbed them.
Gally is the guy who unmasked.
The guy who died in the first movie, got stabbed by a spear, who was thrown.
So he was stung.
Yeah.
He was infected.
But he was immune. So he only needs the serum to like
to
cure him of the thing.
Cure him of that. But then he got speared in the chest, right?
But Thomas got shot in the stomach too, so.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
No, I mean it's very rare, but he made the joke about it, like, it's not probable, but he survived somehow.
Fair enough. So he takes him down to his new boss.
Yeah.
And this was an exciting surprise that I had no idea he was in this movie.
Neither did I.
It was Walton Goggins, man, from Justified.
Badass.
And Vice Principals, if you've seen that, of course. Yeah. And he plays Lawrence, this
Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. He's actually Lawrence's Davy Jones' locker. Like, I mean, he's Davy Jones essentially.
That's pretty good.
He's limping around. He's got like a little squiddy.
Curse of the Black Pearl going on.
Yeah, a little squiddy on the side. But he's a half changed crank.
Yeah, which is over visually and the concept behind that and the story. I really liked.
And
I liked his underlying layer too.
We were talking about the production of the crank virus stuff in itself. Like there's a person that Teresa is working on, a little girl at the beginning, who has like this stuff pumping through her veins, and it's fascinatingly intricate, and it doesn't look like it's done with CGI. It looks like really it's good. Practical, and his effects on his hands and everything and his face
looks wonderful.
Are beautiful.
It looks great. The nose looks great.
Oh my god!
Honestly, I think he just looks bad. I think the character design is fantastic on him.
Agreed.
He only gets like 3 scenes.
But he does well.
But he does his job. He sells it. I mean, if it was somebody else, I don't know. But it was good to get a face in there.
Yes,
like a nice face actor. I know, and he chews the scenery perfectly.
He does.
I dug it.
He was a businessman.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's a good guy. He's sort of the leader-ish of the underground, of the resistance of this outside city-ish thing. And then they do this thing that seems like it takes a lot of time in the movie, where they're like, we've got a way in for you, Thomas, but we got to show it to you. So they break into, they go underneath the ground, they go through sewers, they get up, they crawl all the way up the outside, the inside of the tower, just to fucking look into the Wicked building
to see Teresa,
to show him Teresa.
Fun fact: Teresa is the name of my stepmom. Hi, Teresa.
I'm sure she's happy.
You're a wonderful stepmom. I love you.
Hey, Teresa.
Moving on.
Yes. I'm glad we dealt with that.
Yes.
I also know a Teresa. The end. But yeah, so we just get this thing, and then they come back, and then they're planning again.
Yeah,
I'm like, you couldn't have just said, "Hey, guess what? We found your girlfriend, bro."
I mean, I like the visual moment.
I understand the visual moment, but there's a lot of like the getting there and shit like that.
Where it's like you're walking down a little wasted, and just to climb up the side thing, it just seemed like
I don't know. It's beautiful visuals,
yeah,
but it's again, it feels a little drawn out.
Before you go by plot, I was going to say visuals in general about the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the CGI and everything is very good in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, for the money they spent, I mean, it looks great.
Well,
like,
and
I looking out the window, the bokeh and the lights and the extension in the buildings. I mean, it's really impressive.
And I actually really like this as a trilogy because it's 3 different, very distinct looks.
Yeah. They all.
I mean, there is stuff weaving through.
Yeah.
Like the outside of the thing looks like a cross between their maze and the Alan Tudyk area of the last movie.
Yeah.
But so they're all in this world, but each one this one was a cityscape. Yeah. You know, rather than a desert and rather than a glade or a maze. So they really used visual language quite well, I think, in this one to set it apart.
It works good as a trilogy. Yeah. And something I want to talk about in general, I just want to give props to Wes Ball, is like, he made a trilogy. I mean, we live in a world where it's so rare, and everything runs their course. And today we live in a world where let's just do it till it hits that moment.
Yeah.
And once it hits that moment, let's just keep trying till it works again.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of, I miss it because there's something about a solid 3 that works. And what I grew up with,
3 acts,
and it just is so perfect. And I love it about storytelling. You know, like, I miss a good. Not many directors have made a full trilogy.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about it, there's not. Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Wes Ball did Maze Runner. Indiana Jones, with Steven Spielberg. Sure. They eventually did 4, but that's, Steven Spielberg. Yeah. George Lucas didn't do all Star Wars. So even though it's a trilogy, he didn't do them all the same director.
Correct, yeah.
Gore Verbinski did 3 Pirates of the Caribbean. He did his trilogy.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
it's very rare. And the concept of trilogy is not
it's not
very.
And I think it's the. I thought
well, and it's not very old either.
No, well, it started with Star Wars, really.
Star Wars and Godfather.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Godfather was like that. Third one felt tacked on.
Third one was very much tacked on.
Yeah.
But you're right. But it's not a thing that should be yearned for. I don't think it's something that you set out to do when you're making one movie.
No, but when I think you have one movie that's a big hit, you should aim for a trilogy and not like, how do we make 12? I think I think it's good to do that, and I think that helps,
because 3 stories can be told if they are self-contained stories. Now, this was fine because it was a 3 arc. This was all right, but like if you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, you have a wonderfully self-contained first movie, and then you have 2 half movies, in the second.
But if you look at when you watch them all together, what's great is the first one, although still plays very well in the 2 and 3. But what 2 does, which is why we have to do with films with Side so good, is it makes it feel like it's a trilogy that works as a 3-film thing. But it doesn't do what like these series do today. Is like, how do we keep setting up for one? Like the idea with 2 and 3 was we're setting up for a sequel, but it does complete its arcs. But they all 3 visually look different. But the idea of the compass, like the first movie, we don't know. We never hear what the compass does. We just know it doesn't point north. So they think in the beginning of 2 it points to the island of, what do you call it? Cortez.
Cortez.
Mortar or whatever it is. And you find out, no, it doesn't. You eventually find out it points to where you want
to go.
But who knows? I don't think they necessarily knew that when they did the first one.
No.
I think they just came that, and I think more movies need to be written that way. I think that the idea is make a Star Wars. George Lucas can say all he wants. He had outlines. But a lot of things changed in each of those movies. And he did not know exactly how Empire Strikes Back was going to start and what story's going to take it. But Star Wars is a clean. That's it. That movie ends again, standalone movie. But when 2 comes out, it feels like a natural progression.
Yes, and naturally, Wes Ball has been working on this, and and there was never
but
any.
He could have left. Like, Wes Ball could have. Dude, with the way the world, Wes Ball could have left.
The way the first
1 or
2 went,
he could have got a draft. If he really wanted to, he could have lobbied and gotten a Marvel movie, or if he wanted to. He could have got. I'm sure he could have got it. Fox. They're doing a bunch of X-Men movies. I'm sure he could have got an X-Men movie.
He could get a small movie like Ant-Man.
Yeah, right. But you get the idea. Like, really, he could. Like, I mean, it's not like he can get off or whatever.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He, with those 2 films under his belt,
sure,
can get in the room to pitch for those movies,
of course,
and get one of them. And he could be doing a $150 million movie, but he chose to finish his trilogy before doing that, and I think that makes his value stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it makes him feel good because he's like, no matter what I do in my career, I have this. I completed this. This is mine.
And I think and to finish a trilogy, to wrap everything up, is very difficult. And I think he did. He was telling a fairly complicated story if you look at it, and to really have at least given everybody their due. At least given all of the characters that we cared about a wrap up, give some defeats and give some tragedy to it. I think they did. He did it all good. He did good.
Good job.
You did good, Wes.
I'm jealous. I want to be Wes Ball so much. I really look up to Wes Ball. Because of these 3 movies. And not that I think they're the greatest movies ever, but as someone who's just turned 25, made his first independent feature, which is going to come out on streaming end of the year. But to see someone who started doing this in his late 20s. And now he's in his early 30s and did this whole trilogy. And to just pull it off and handle it with not only the Crisis of the Dylan O'Brien thing, to be able to shoot half a movie, wait a year, come back, get everybody up together and do it again and keep the morale. And it's just one of those people I look and say, no, you got to keep striving, because he was working on movies as graphics and effects and doing whatever he could to, paying his bills. Not that he wasn't doing it, but he obviously wanted to be a director. And he made it happen for himself, and he showed that he has a talent. He can do it. And I hope that we're doing this podcast and 5 years from now, people go, damn, I can't believe
you're a director and you got a podcast. That's cool. When did they? Oh no. They kidnapped Teresa.
Well, then they go back in Teresa,
and then pull her
because
out.
Teresa, we're seeing on. Let's go to this real quick. That's the Wicked storyline, real quick.
So
Teresa's obviously now second in command of the main girl in white, finding a cure. And even though there's moments where you see she's conflicted about it, it's what she believes, and you see
a lot of the things are just her looking at a.
Like, just looking extra long. Yeah, I know.
Or just like,
we can talk about works. Yeah. But she's doing experiments on Minho,
and also this little girl.
And also a little girl we were talking about. But the whole thing is she's doing the things on Minho, and we see that what Minho's going through.
Oh my God, the Matrix shit.
Yeah, they're trying to discover different ways to get this thing. And Minho is a super person who's got extra special enzymes running inside of him.
It seems like it, whatever the blue stuff
because
is.
They're putting him through these weird
Matrix trials,
Matrix,
essentially. They're
VR,
like the maze, but they just pump it into his brain. And if they could do that, they're like, nah, it's not good enough. I don't know why it's good enough. It wouldn't have been good enough for him. They're already torturing these kids. They're already like putting them to sleep and stuff. Just torture them some more and put them in this VR. Why did you have to create these multi-billion-dollar mazes? They made many of them too. Anyway, thinking too much about it. So he comes out. He's tortured. Obviously, he's got no way to get out, and she is testing it on this little girl, and she seems to be doing well.
Yeah, but then it ends up, of course, not working. And then that's the moment you kind of see in her face where she's realizing, or you think starting to realize that this has no. Thomas is right. This isn't going to work.
Yeah,
it's worthless. We're going to go in circles. This is an endless thing. We're hurting the next generation.
Sure,
but they don't really. They never. Teresa again. She never really goes into that. We never see her full.
And the stakes also don't feel like. Well, they actually do feel like. Well, we had a good run as a human race. We're not like you don't see the hard work. You see one test trial, and you never get the sense that like
they pushed the lady in white to the side.
Ava Page, if she had a breakdown rather than a come on, we're done. It's fine. We gave it our chance. If she was like, I tried so hard, and I just want something to happen.
Now that she's failing, they go, she's a failure, and now they look at her. Well, if you're a failure, then you're a murderer or something. Yeah. Not that cheesy of a line. But the concept of that, like, and then she can flip out and be like, I did this to do this.
Exactly. I wanted like some. That's almost what is wrong with this whole thing. Is like the emotion, the most emotion is I feel like from Minho. Remember when he's like freaking out at the when they're.
He gets his little angry fits in each movie. He gets
God,
a nice little moment.
I love his moments. But there's a lot of people who just sort of keep it on an even keel.
Yeah.
And it's just like I want some emotion. I want some like get mad at each other. You know. Even I don't know. Even as a bad guy, Jansen is just like. Yes, I'm going to do this. I love that actor. I love him so much. But you know,
but they capture her.
Yeah, they capture her.
They take her captive because on the street she sees Donna Brown. They chase her.
Yeah,
but they capture her. They say you're going to give us information. They're going to sneak in.
Yes.
So then the people they all go inside, or not they. It's Thomas, Newt, who is bitten now.
Yes.
They have to
which
get a cure
is just sort of like a floating thing. A floating problem that doesn't have a huge amount of weight to it.
No, they don't. They seem to just like it's funny because like in other movie series they're very very clear on like,
oh my God, don't look at me.
Yeah, but not just that. Like the idea that someone like we can't have him around. Yeah, he's bit. They're gonna kill us.
He's a problem,
which is fine. It's not
a liability.
And everyone's like this. Like, nah, don't matter. He's our best bet.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's British, yo. Chill out.
Yeah, he'll be.
He's the last British guy on Earth.
Yeah, let's keep him around. And it's also Gally. Gally goes after them.
And it's Gally.
Right?
He goes in, I guess he's able to, like, it's not really clear. He, like, hacks into the electrical thing, and Walter Goggins is able to, like, control it.
He's like,
kind of in an Elysium type of way.
Elysium, you've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah, but it reminded me of that, because that's the one guy who runs the thing of the people being able to get in.
Yeah.
And,
I get that.
He's got the screen, and he runs the organization.
I don't know if they set up his character perfectly, because he seemed to have... I didn't know what his purpose was in the beginning, and then it turns out that he wants to take everybody down, and it just seemed like
he what they did to him.
They did to him, but I didn't see him as a revolutionary at first. I thought, he says it outright. He says, "I'm a businessman."
Yeah, he says it in a little more villainous.
Oh, that's
like,
interesting. So
way.
He's just like he wants a tit for tat. Bring me. I thought that the whole thing was bring me more of the blue stuff. Yeah. And I'll give you your friends back, or some weird thing like that. But anyway,
I think that we didn't really see it, but I think the idea was he was learning this was the opportunity that he was working toward. The reason he needed more time was to be able to do this one day, right? To get back at them, because he knew he's a crank. He can't live forever. He can't just go have a regular life. But he wants to see the future is, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he ends up sacrificing himself.
Right, exactly. So they break in, and they don't expect him to do that, though.
That's a total side thing.
So they break in, they go up. There's
a lot of action stuff. He's up in this whole thing going on
because he has all the control. they're not they're not setting off alarms when they're like freeing all of the kids, freeing all the gliders.
They cut the things out the back of their neck.
Oh yes, that's right. She does that, and she also steals a piece of gauze from him to try to start making. She has a hunch.
She's got that magic blood.
Yeah, and she's like,
Kirk's magic
maybe
blood.
It's him. Maybe Thomas is the magic one. And so they go through that. They actually have a very cool scene with Teresa and Jansen, where who is it? Newt and Thomas are standing right behind him in the stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah.
And they have a nice little
where they're going up the
thing.
elevator.
And he's like, hey, Thomas is dead, by the way.
Yeah.
Probably. Sorry.
He's coming to get you,
and I would hope that you would say something to me, and then they all three leave.
We may shoot him or kill.
And then he's
he gives it away with the bump. Shouldn't have bumped him.
Bump.
Shouldn't have shoulder bumped him.
Exactly. And so,
which I'm trying to think is a callback that he shoulder bumped him in Scorch Trials, I think, when he walked by him or something. Like, he's like, oh yeah, shoulder bump.
Oh, I think when he was trying to get past everybody.
Yeah, he was like, shoulder bump.
Boom. Yeah. So then their firefight ensues.
Yes.
That whole crazy thing. They go to find Minho. They find Minho.
Minho finds them.
Oh, Minho finds them.
Because he breaks out himself, too.
That's right, because he stabs them because he stole Teresa's hairpin.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
That was the whole reason he got extra mad.
Mad. He was like saving up his energy.
Yeah.
In his like comatose state.
Yep.
And great. He's back. Somehow they get him shoes. And they're running around. Then they finally have to.
I didn't think about that.
all jump out of the window.
Yeah.
Into the to the pool,
which was a great shot when they jump out and dive out.
Cool.
I don't know if you could survive that fall.
No, I don't think so. And why would it be that deep? But you got to have a deep pool to dive into from 18 feet, 18 stories.
I was trying to think.
10.
You can survive
10 maybe.
Like people go cave jumping. Like I have friends who jump 75 feet.
Okay.
And I know that's
how deep is?
It's fucking not. It's not a pond. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. A water feature.
A water feature. No, it's not. It's not 3 feet deep.
Right.
But so I like to think that 75 is doable for a person. That 100 is like if you're expert, you angle it right, you can survive it.
Yeah.
So up
Just
to 10
don't
stories.
get a.
So we'll say it was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I'll say it was doable.
Okay. Good.
Not into a water fountain.
No, probably not. But and then they all get confronted by some guys, and then they get rescued by Galley because he was one of the 4 that was there, which was fun. And then he had actually gotten the kids onto the bus with Brenda.
Yes, because
they
they didn't just free Minho, they freed all the kids.
Right.
There was like 28,
28. Yep.
There were 28 other kids who were like Minho who were immune, who they were going to dissect for this new
Sure,
thing.
Why not? And she's driving around and doing a little bit of a chase, and then they're trying to get out on foot, and she gets confronted by everybody, and I assume the only reason she gets cornered, but I assume the only reason that they didn't open fire at her was because she has the kids.
That's what it was.
That's what I was thinking.
I feel that they should have killed her. I thought it was easy, but I guess they didn't want to risk because then they all start shooting.
But they also have those take the electric guns.
Yeah, they do.
And they had an electric grenade this time.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Minho threw at him.
That was
or
cool.
Newt threw at him.
I like
the
electric guns. I actually think that's maybe my favorite tool or gadget they use in these movies.
I like
you see them kind of wrap around them.
Like, yeah. And but also they have sidearms, which are pistols.
Yeah.
At the same time, and they're like shooting back and forth with each other. It's just funny that you wouldn't have like a sidearm that's also an electric gun. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I don't know. I guess you got to have something lethal. And then Fry Pan lifts as we talked about before.
Yeah, with
lifts
the hook.
Which
when the hook first comes in, good moment. Good cut, good sound effect. I was like, oh, surprise. Oh, that's cool. It's badass.
There's an X on the ground.
Doesn't really make too much sense because I wish you just set it up slightly.
A little bit.
But in the first, I was like, super cool.
Yeah.
Wish they set it up. Doesn't make much sense at the crane. Why was it all there? But who
it's
cares?
Fine.
It's fun. I'll go with it.
Yeah. And finally, we get to this point where they have to diverge, or divergent. God. So they have to divide up. It's Galley and Minho. They go to get some blue stuff to cure Newt.
Yes.
And then Thomas is carrying Newt towards the plane, and he turns sadly.
Yes. And they have a fight going that ensues. That's kind of like the whole. he's going in and out of being a zombie.
Like, kill me! Why don't you kill me? I am...
So...
Yeah. And here's the thing where it diverges from the book, actually.
Supposedly. Because we know so much.
I have read the 250th page.
Okay.
It's like 5 lines. But there's a thing where he says, I'm turning, Tommy. Please kill me. Please. And he just pulls, like, cold-hearted, like, doesn't even let him change or anything like that. He just pulls out his sidearm and pulls the trigger and kills him. So it's very interesting
handled
that they
better in the movie.
I would argue with that. I would say that in that situation, he took the agency to make that decision, and that is a good, like, an acceptable and understanding decision. I know that we have a ticking clock in the movie, but in that it shows almost a hard decision that he had to make. In this one, he's just trying to wrestle Newt away from him and keep him away till the cure comes, and then he accidentally kills him. So we don't actually get that human decision moment.
I don't like that decision.
It's a fine thing that they did it this way in the movie, but I don't know.
For a second, thought Dylan O'Brien died.
Well, of course, that's what they did. They did the thing where there's a knife or a gun in between the two that they're wrestling.
The only reason I fell for it was because I've just heard everyone hates this book. I know I heard they changed a lot in the movie.
Sure.
And you said page 250. Yeah. And you said someone died. That's all you said because I asked.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, if it's anyone but Dylan O'Brien, it's not a surprise, and you really can't be upset about it. Yeah. I'm like, not that it doesn't matter, but it just improves his story.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I'm like, well, if it's Newt, I thought if there was anyone who was gonna die, it's him or Minho. One of them has to go. They do.
Yeah.
I know. So that's not surprising. So I thought they were gonna kill Dylan O'Brien and have like some weird, like, that's what people thought was awful.
Yeah.
Or they kill a main character in the last
and then they
act
just
is like
ring
somebody
him out,
else. Yeah.
And he's just like dripping of blood, and they're
else.
like, cure.
So I was like, wow, did they fucking kill Dylan O'Brien? And then I was like, oh no, of course not.
No,
it's
of course.
Newt. And then I was like, So I was like, oh, that's page 250?
Well, and the crazy thing is that is.
I was like, that's not that much.
I think they must build it differently.
Oh, I'm sure the whole movie's structured differently.
Absolutely. And I don't think that from the beginning you knew that was going to happen, so it was all
I also disagree with knowing that there's, if I don't know if in the book is the letter thing at the end of the beach.
I have no idea.
Because in the book,
I don't even know if there's a beach.
Yeah, but if that happened in the movie, it makes sense that he didn't kill him, because then that letter wouldn't play at the end.
That would suck. Yeah.
It'd be like, he
knew he had his.
If you kind of half cold-heartedly killed him and then read that letter.
And I don't think it's a cold-hearted thing. I think it's a logical thing.
It would feel cold-hearted if he did it and then read the letter that he wrote to him.
And then he's like, oh God.
Yeah.
You forced my hand. I'm still a good guy. Yeah.
If I directed the movie, I also would have changed it.
It keeps him pure. I get it. Yeah. So then finally he's like, then this, I don't know. It's weird. Then he's like, oh, I'm so angry. And Teresa comes over the. Oh, we didn't even talk about Lawrence Walton Goggins just bombing the gate.
Saying he like crashed it. We said he blew it up.
He bombs the gate.
But more importantly, it's like what's his face comes and saves Brenda. No, is that her name? Yeah.
Brenda. Yes. Yeah.
She gets saved, of course, by Barry Pepper and
Jorge.
Yes.
Giancarlo.
Yeah. So they get saved
in the thing,
and they are the ones. They have the cure now with the kids, and that's who they're running to and get the cure from to bring back to Newt, obviously.
Yes,
so he stabs him. It's too late in time. Then it's a big set piece of them trying to get out.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that whole chase, but then we get the microphone thing.
The microphone, and she's like, "You could have saved him."
To everybody, it's like the whole city can hear.
Yeah.
Like, come back to the city.
Back and you can save the world. Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I knew that this was going to happen. Yeah. No, I left right after.
You saw what the setup was.
Yeah, I definitely did. I wanted to wait until Newt died, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna explode. And actually, I waited until Littlefinger started monologuing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gonna take a while. And then I ran back in. But so you take this.
Yeah, well, it's not too much. Then he goes to the thing and he talks to. Oh, I guess you didn't see.
I did see the white girl get killed. White lady. Ava Page.
Ava Page. She gets killed. Who was underutilized in this movie, and they push her to the side.
Why did he kill her?
I really don't.
There was no motivation.
Really know.
They never butted heads enough to be like,
he was encouraging her, if anything, and then he was disappointed that she said no, so he killed her. He's disappointed in her, but
it's not like
it seemed like his plan at the end was trying to kill Teresa too. It's like she's the only one. Like, now you're just trying to save yourself, but she's the only one who can
make that shit.
Who can make that? Right? So you're killing them. It didn't make too much sense to me. His plan.
No, and he had been bitten.
Yeah, apparently. It might have been a little too twisty turny, the ending for me.
Yeah.
So he goes and talks. You think it's all he's talking to the girl. He's like, "We'll save you, Thomas. We'll do this."
Yeah.
And then they kill her. Then he goes that. You see that he's bitten.
Yep.
They have this big fight scene. You know, Teresa turns. She's now fighting with Dylan O'Brien's side.
Yeah.
Dylan O'Brien ends up getting shot. That's the whole thing. After a fist fight 1-on-1,
he gets shot in the gut.
He does a cool judo move to choke him though.
Yeah. You told me about this. Yeah.
What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. Little finger.
Aiden. Jansen.
Jansen. He chokes Dylan O'Brien out, which is pretty cool. Little fist fight. A little too shaky cam, but whatever.
Sure.
They run away. He gets shot, and then I'm like, damn, is he gonna die now? He's shot like I thought this movie was gonna maybe end like on the bittersweet way. Yeah. Where it was like they found a cure and they killed him.
Oh, I thought so too.
I
thought they were gonna have to bleed him out while he was dying, and they were like, we gotta get more samples from you so we can save the world. I was like, oh god. Well,
but he lives for a while with that bullet in his stomach.
He does, and then they make it. I came back in when he throws the bedpan or something like that at the. Yeah. I knew he was going to say, "You think I really missed?" Of course,
you got to say something
because
like
there's
that.
So many times where somebody, missed. Did I? Oh my god. That's way too cliche.
But what bothered me was the fact that I just don't believe that pan would have broke that glass enough.
It was very tiny, dent in the corner.
Yeah, that dent didn't seem possible at all.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
And and then the cranks attack Littlefinger, Jansen. They run away. They get to the top of the roof. They got to make the jump.
Yeah.
To the
helicopter thing.
Everything's burning down around them.
Buildings are colliding, falling.
Good lord.
Which I want to say that in general, this scale battle at the end that's going on, because there's the people rushing in from Walter Goggins Blue, so the whole people outside the city are now storming the city, and now all the stormtrooper people are fighting. So there's a big battle in the streets, and
nothing was super unique about it, but it was just
it looked great.
It was background, and it was wonderful. Atmosphere.
Yeah, they handled it well because it wasn't about that. So they showed our characters are going on this, but while that's happening, there is this other scale. But again, the scale of it looked really good. Yeah. And for the budget of these movies, I mean, I was like the visual effects. I was fucking impressed.
Yeah,
I really was. Big final.
Yeah, launching grenades and shit into it,
and blowing up buildings, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then at the end, they're jumping into the helicopter. They make the jump, difficult jump.
Jesus. Yeah.
She throws him over. He gets up there. And then she ends up doesn't want to live or something. I get it. I mean, whatever, sure.
Well, no, she didn't sacrifice herself. She was
sacrifice. She just
pushed him
anymore.
in, and then
she didn't deserve to live.
Did she? I mean, I think she would have. I think she was like, "Oh man, I'm really a piece of shit human."
Yeah.
But oh wait, oh no, it's crashing. Yeah, I think I deserve this.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. But I think she would have tried to jump.
I would have fucking jumped.
Right? Just hate me. I'm still alive.
If you miss, you fucking still fall into the
right? Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But she died and she fell like an angel.
And this other thing bothered me too. It's the end of the movie. I mean, I thought Dylan O'Brien's gonna die multiple times, and it looks like he dies.
Yes.
Which I know people you can close your eyes and not be dead.
Yeah.
When you're getting shot.
Yeah.
But
they were slapping him.
It implies he it kind of dies and it fades to black and he wakes up somewhere and it's like I don't know if I either show him he dies or show me that he doesn't die.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the fade to black, fade up, he's alive.
It's shut up. Yes, he's gonna be alive.
But I did like the ending that they were in. I really actually did like the epilogue.
Interesting.
To this movie quite a bit. The last two shots, I'm not sure.
Where he looks at the vial?
It's kind of an ambiguous thing. Is he keeping it, throwing it away? I don't understand.
I thought make a choice, but also, what does it matter? Are you
don't throw it away. I feel like that's just a weird thing. You never know.
Do one or the other. I'm gonna keep it, or I am here with my crew. I don't care about the rest of the world, but do one or the other.
Mm-hmm. I like the speech that Barry Pepper makes.
Barry Pepper is, absolutely.
He makes a good speech. That's Barry's best little moment in the movie.
I think so.
I like the speech he makes about the ones we've lost, and thinking about them in The Rock, and it's good seeing him with the friends. And I like reading the letter, too. That's a good letter. I mean...
Yeah. How long did this period take? Because they said it was 6 months from Scorch Trials. And then this was like a week.
I would say a week.
It felt like, right? Yeah, week and a week. Depending on how long it took to travel.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's the thing you always have to avoid. Like, I read Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like, there's fucking a month of them. And, you know, it's like, you gotta find Jack Sparrow and give me the compass back. This year. You know, because like, you gotta get on a ship. I don't know how long
2 days sail from here.
Yeah. So,
really?
Who knows?
But yeah. Well,
score it up.
Score it up. You go first.
Score.
You go first.
Oh man, you went first both times.
I know.
On this one,
flipping it.
All right, I'm gonna say I really like this movie. I think I liked it more than you. I was enjoyable. It's also one of those things for me that the thing I hold highest in regard in terms of a grading. Everyone's got the thing they lean toward most.
Of course.
And I lean toward directing most. What I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. So I had a great time. I'm gonna give it a solid B.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give Death Cure a B, probably an 85.
Okay.
Maybe an 86.
Sure.
So I'm right there. I'm gonna go high B.
All right. Cool. I think
86, 85. I'll think about it.
You sure?
One of those two. One of those two.
Decide by the end of the episode.
No, 85 or 86.
Okay.
85.5.
Perfect.
6.
0.56? Great. I also enjoyed the direction. I think that there were some cliched moments in here that were, and I said it before when we were talking. Actually, I don't think I've mentioned it, but it felt a little paint by numbers in a way that they didn't delve. They hit the moments and then they didn't delve deeper into what could have been.
Yeah.
But this is young adult fare. This is a fun movie with some heart to it. And so even though some cliches were happening in it, they delivered them well. So I'm going to give this an 82, 83.
Okay.
I think. Yes,
Sounds
I
good.
did. I think there was just more to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Rather than the last one.
So we both agree it's better than Scorch Trials.
It is
and that the
slightly
first one
better.
is our favorite. So
yes.
General aspect.
So overall, this is a solid B trilogy.
Franchise. Yeah, I completely agree.